Morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, so we're doing unusual openings today here on lichess and Twitch. Intro National Master William Pascal. We are, yes, Chess 960 is not unusual openings. I would normally not play any Chess 960 today, but since Troll on a Roll is a subscriber and he's here always first, I feel an obligation. He doesn't really want to play anything but Chess 960, so we'll start the Chess 960 after the game with Troll on a Roll. Excuse me. We'll start the weird openings, unusual openings after the game with Troll. Yeah, that was confusing to say. So, anyway, good morning. The candidates tournament in Berlin is upside down of what I expected. I thought Kramnik and Aronian would be, probably two of the highest rated players, two of the best shots to take out Carlsen, but they're both in last place. And, Grishuk is in +1, +2 for Mamadjarov. Not surprising to me. The Caruana has been really surprising. He hasn't done anything special this year chess-wise, and he's +3 dominating the tournament. So I'm a little disappointed with the way that shook out, but it's still not over yet. What else? We're going to start here. Let's just get started with the Chess 960 game with Troll. I like to do this first anyway because I'm usually half asleep when I start the stream. I wake up around 8:30, but it's very, very slow for me to kind of gain consciousness in the morning. And honestly, if I don't pick up the pieces or see the board for a while, it takes me usually an hour to kind of get into it. So I'm pretty prone to losing these first games in the stream. Troll on a Roll has been giving me a hard time. In Chess 960, he seems to be really expert. I guess he's only playing Chess 960 now. I was making the effort to play more, a little more classically lately. So, therefore we play something like this. He's played King's Gambit style stuff against me in similar setups. We've got the knight on h8, which I hate. It's very hard to get it in the game, and even if you do develop it to g6, it's not that well placed. This would weaken my king position to put the knight on a medium good square. Asterbait, Juicebox Wizard, thanks guys for joining us and subscribing. That is an aggressive move. Wow, just going for maximum piece mobility. Grabbing space with b4. I have been criticized for playing passively in Chess 960 against Troll of late. But there's some, I don't like being criticized in general, but there's some justification to this. I think that I have been playing more passively in a way, because it seems like he's got this dominant position almost every time. And I could answer symmetrically with b5, but it goes against my nature. I do want to get that bishop in the game, though. The bishop on a8. So this move, it's not bad in this respect that my queen has some weak squares to exploit on the e8 a4 diagonal potentially. Then again, his bishop is on d1, so it's strange commentating Chess 960 a little bit. We're just not really in familiar territory in terms of the opening. Now d4, I could take it for sure, but I give up my center, which seems like a kind of concession, and there's nothing that can hit that bishop on d4. Anyway, I've got to get my knight in the game. How are we going to capture here on e5? If he captures, I was thinking about taking with the knight, but it gives up the center. Classically speaking, that would give up the center. Although my knight would be strong on e5, he could kick it out with f4 at the cost of slightly weakening his position. Maybe, whoa, this is going a little bit. This looks like he's going a little bit too far, but perhaps it's justifiable. If I just castle here. Now it feels like I'm playing some kind of queen pawn game with black. I just can't really quite justify taking on d4 and letting his bishop sit there on d4 with an open diagonal. I don't know. So now we have this King's Indian type of structure. E5 would probably weaken my white squares, or F5, excuse me, weaken my white squares. My bishop is just sitting on A8. It's amazing how fast he can play this. C6 seems like I'm playing on the wrong side, but this bishop has to get into the game. Actually, all my pieces need to get into the game here. A5 is not possible. His center is strong. I guess I can play C6, try to counterattack his center. Ideally, I would play B5, I think. And while sort of very strong strategically, trolling a roll, he doesn't seem that strong tactically, but somehow he doesn't allow me to play tactical positions. Like he has a way of sort of blocking the game. Like there's no open position, there's no tactics. Here I have B5. B5 actually looks pretty good. Try to break it up, try to open it up, try to create some tactics for me and liberate my bishop on A8 while melting his center. See, damn, this was played quickly. Strange how his speed changed. Changing speeds. He plays faster than usual. I mentioned this the last couple of streams, but this is a player I've played 85 games with. It seems like he's gotten faster in the last week or two. Strange that that would happen. Alright, always he was losing on time, but lately he's staying ahead of me on the clock. Maybe I'm getting slower, maybe he's not getting faster. It's always like perception. But now this just looks good for me. As soon as you start to get Troll into kind of calculation area, he doesn't really calculate. It's not that he can't calculate, I think he just chooses not to calculate or not to play positions where a calculation is necessary. But here he's like playing on intuition and then didn't conceive like of me going knight b6. Now I'm triple attacking d5. It just looks good. Which challenge number am I? 7,000, yeah. Juicebox Wizard is up next, then Rabbit Chess. Nabil Hassan is not a subscriber. I will take the subscribers first today. Angry Grandma in the chat. This has got to be a troll. Alright. We'll just keep an eye on that. Queen c3. He's just losing his center here. Take this first. I'll take that. The grandma guy is pretty funny. You actually know grandma? Or are you just judging by this one comment? This is a Twitch user you've seen before. No, Tushar, I don't really want to keep playing Chess 960 today. I'm supposed to be playing weird openings. So I don't want to do more. I really don't want to do this one, to be honest with you. But I'm just humoring Troll here. The theme of the day is Chess 960, so I don't want... It's unusual openings on Wednesdays. Any other day, I'll play Chess 960 more games. I don't really want to do this one today. I keep forgetting that I'm castled already. That is convenient. I had this terrible fear that my king isn't safe. I just have to watch that one cheapo on the long diagonal, and we're objectively winning here. What does troll means? Wow. Are you serious? trolling. It's quite a trendy word, I thought. Queen takes a2, grabbing another pawn. I mean, you can never have enough pawns, really. Especially when you can't get trapped. He could play like rook b3, try to seal my queen in, but I guess we just run away back here. The f8 rook might do some work here by protecting my... Oh man, his queen is almost trapped. I'm trying to say that the f rook might actually be better placed to go to e8 or d8 or just stay on f8, so... Stumbling over my words here. The upper late... Oh man, Bob, it's not polite. I beat a 25-73 game. I kind of, everything I say, I'm like stumbling and mixing the words up in the wrong order. Like maybe I have some kind of brain disorder. Like it's like middle-aged dyslexia onset or something. We're pretty active here. It's looking good. Possible piece sacrifices on e5 don't look promising for white. Queen is not getting trapped. Now he has the cheapo b5. I was expecting that, like trying to play like knight b4. Liberating his pieces a little bit by playing rook b2, but that's more exchanges. I'm only up a pawn here though. You know, I mean, it's not a huge margin, actually. Not a huge margin. My bishops are extremely strong. So it feels like black's up more than a pawn. Troll. He played all those pawn moves in the early stage of the opening. This surprises me. Why knight takes? He wants to go here? Presumably, it's about playing, I don't know, actually, knight e4. Perhaps knight e4 is the idea. It's amazing how difficult it is here to actually threaten anything for black. How about my bishop? A slight improvement. The white squares look very weak. If you look at this diagonal. I managed to keep my central pawn since the opening, and therefore he hasn't had any of that nasty stuff on the long diagonal that he would have liked to have gotten. So it's kind of a academic point, but you know, it was a success. The whole concept of maintaining my strong point in the opening worked. Hey Soltiga, what's up? Bob, you're really pushing it. This is provocative stuff. Bishop b7, very good for black. Yore Gelt, Contra Chess, coming to us from Budapest. This is a good, sensible move here. He's seeing that his rook was about to get basically trapped on the diagonals, and then liberates all his pieces. Still have no tactics. I'm close to something here, but it's not quite materializing. He's on b2 now. It's just hanging. There's nothing I can do. I'm going to have to protect my guys. It seems like a pity to let his knight unpin itself. And then I have the long diagonal myself. This is what I really want to use, but how? I need like a piece sacrifice on... It's hard to visualize how exactly I'm going to break through with just my bishop, queen, and knight alone, you know, against his king side. We'll rely on him to lose on time, I guess. Still not that easy to win. 94, powerfully outposted piece, hitting d6. You could take here. I think it's okay, but it does give up an extremely valuable bishop. So I guess we'll protect instead. Now I would anticipate rook d1. Actually, he has nothing with knight c5. No immediate threats. Now I play h6, stopping any kind of back ranks. I also take away knight g5, and I'm ready to play f5, I guess. Final stage of the siege of Troll on a Roll. The final stages is like basically launching my f pawn and creating this like amoeba of pawns in the center that's just gonna, he just hallucinated here. Troll is a specialist in calculation. That looks like a pawn, but it's not a pawn. It's actually a bishop protecting the rook on d8. It was a little bit pawn-like, so Troll can be forgiven for mistaking it for a pawn. Juicebox Wizard is up next. Then we're going to play Only Stupid Names Left. These guys are subscribers. Jó reggelt means, it means good morning in Hungarian. Juicebox Wizard, thanks for joining us. Thanks for subscribing here on Twitch. Guys, I just want to warn you in advance. I'm going to leave a little bit early today. I normally stream till 12:30, but I've got a kind of bad schedule because of the time change. I have an appointment with someone in the US, and it's at an hour earlier this week than usual. So I have to finish the stream like 15 minutes early. So please don't be too distraught. Reminder for unusual opening. Alright, yeah, I could do a take back there. But let's just keep it weird. Thank you for reminding me. The less I think, the more I know. Well, now he's playing the Chigorin, which is kind of unusual. I could do take back. But we've gone this far, so let's just play a3. We'll play a kind of Polish against the Chigorin. That would be interesting here if he went e5, actually. Maybe e5, b4, e4, b5, e takes f3, b takes c6. I think that would be a new position. Would you consider going over a candidates game for my stream? Well, I think the best triumphant would be tomorrow night when I'm doing my game analysis for a subscriber stream. I have to send out a message to all the subscribers, actually, reminding them. But you know, we do game analysis on Thursday nights, so I could actually, you know, insert one of my own games for my game analysis for the week. I've done that on occasion, so maybe that's not a bad idea. But not today. GM Ben Feingold, Okay, I'm a little concerned about this now. Do not click on any links, guys. Do not click on any links unless it's like put in there by my official Twitch account or someone that we really trust. This is the internet. You should know that already. Bob, only you would actually click on it. I mean, that's kind of disturbing in itself. Which makes me think you wanted to see it. It definitely wasn't the real Ben Feingold. Juicebox Wizard is playing a weird move here, Queen e7. I don't think that it's really a setup where you want to castle queenside necessarily. I mean, it's almost like it's a closed Sicilian. It basically is. It's basically a kind of closed Sicilian where I've played like c4 I'm a Sicilian player. He's playing e4. And you just don't generally castle queenside in that kind of position because I'm stronger on the queen side and you're stronger on the king side. These pawns show us who's stronger on which side of the board. The e5 means that you're stronger on the king side. The c4 means that I'm stronger on the queen side. I think this goes against the grain of the position to try to castle into my stronger side here. Maybe I shouldn't discourage him from doing that though. Just do what you want to do, man. However, I do have to decide about how to develop my pieces here. You know, you could play a move like Queen A4, basically like trying to talk the guy out of castling queenside, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk him out of doing something crazy. You know, it's like your biggest enemy in the world was like standing on the roof of a building threatening to jump off. You know, it's like, okay, dude, don't do it. Don't castle queenside. I'm going to keep my options open. It's not clear if my knight should go to like c3 or d2. Anyway, I'm going to need to develop this bishop. It really doesn't have another square, you know, so I think bishop e2 is a really solid choice. Now he's changing his mind. I literally talked him out of it by discussing it maybe here. But, you know, this one doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's probably not that bad in and of itself. You know, I'm not giving him a lot of credit. I mean, maybe he wants to bring the knight back to d8. But, you know, it would have been better to probably just let it come back to e7 if it's going to get kicked. You know, you wouldn't need to make that move effectively if you're going to play g6. d4, pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4. I don't know. I mean, it's nothing special. I can play d4. Alright, we got to do something. We're going to run out of time. What's that? Am I ever going to become a GM? Gary Fang. Gary, what's this about? Ever going to try, man? I've been trying for a long time. Not really recently, but... Gary Fang. What a polite individual. Alright, knight d2. We can also play d5 here. Maybe that's a better move. Probably is, actually. I mean, opening up the bishop on a long diagonal. What happened? Did the Ben Feingold bring us up? I'm not an old man. What are you talking about? Getting younger every day. We can play bishop takes, keep the structure a little more compact, I guess. But bishop takes knight e5, pawn takes e6. Now I have to take on e6 when he captures, or if he plays knight e5, takes on e6. I was looking at knight takes c4, but I think that's probably not good. Knight e5 takes on e6. If he takes on f3, I take on f3, I'm probably winning material. Okay, this is probably not so good to play knight e5, I guess. Let's try a different move here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's easy to get 2600 performances. The best thing is for FIDE to change the rules and let like scholastic tournaments where people are 2200 and under count as GM norms. Unfortunately, I missed out on that opportunity that other people have. They don't make those available to us here in the real world. But I haven't been trying to be a GM for a long time, since basically like 2007 probably. It's hard for me to gain even 20 rating points, dude, with a 10K factor. Juicebox Wizard just hung a piece. This was a strange error. I actually came within like 25 points of 2,500. In fact, not 100. I was like over 2470. But that's another story. Okay, let's go back to the challenges here. That's my profile. Only stupid names left. 7 plus 3. Is luck a factor in chess? Yeah, I think so. I mean, in the individual game, of course it can happen. You know, someone makes a blunder against you, they don't make blunders against the other players. You can call it what you want, but I mean, I think you can call it luck, basically. Alright, I'm white again. I played knight f3 again. What else can I do here with knight f3? Can somebody play, like... What was I thinking? Now, only stupid names left. What am I going to do for unusual opening now? Let's just play b3. I played a3 last game. Basically a Larson opening. How can I play with you at lichess.com? You just have to log in and challenge me here. You click on, the easiest way is to like right click on somebody's name, or just hover your mouse over someone's account name, and you can click on them and challenge them here. You'd be able to challenge me if I go over stupid names. Actually, that's not going to work. If I go over here, I'm playing a game, so I can't do it. So here, only stupid names left. It's a solid defense. It's a good choice probably to play like e5, d6 type of setup. This is always the King's Indian type of thing as possible with like g6. We'll transpose to essentially another kind of Sicilian position. Not that different from last game. Tushar, when will my game come? I don't know, whenever you are on the list, dude. You're not in the list. There you are, Rabbit Chess. Did I skip you or something? You weren't there, I think, when I clicked this challenge. You had disappeared from the list, Rabbit Chess, momentarily. St. Patty's Day again, but it was the 17th. I think the other factor of luck in tournament chess is like based on who you play against according to the pairing system, because pairing systems aren't really fair. Inherently, it's impossible to have an absolutely fair pairing system. So it's actually quite similar to last game. I like my setup last game better though, because like this is more dynamic, being able to play like b5 in this type of structure. It's the same thing, like I like the St. George defense better than Owen's defense, because it's more dynamic to play a6 and b5 than it is to actually just play b6. You've got more play, more weaknesses, but more play as well. So it's just turning into some kind of double fianchetto English. Black setup though, not that aggressive. I think I'd prefer to do some kind of kingside fianchetto for black than this old Indian style bishop e7. But I think the luck goes for pairings, individual mistakes that certain opponents might make stupid mistakes against you that normally wouldn't happen. Overlooking certain moves, but it's not a luck-based game. Obviously, it's far from a casino game. Don't know what you're talking about. Rook e8 here. If you play like 7.5 out of 9 in the kindergarten championship, should you have like a GM norm for that? I don't understand your point. In the under championship, the under 6 championship of Nepal or something, like, is that a GM norm? Doesn't make any sense. You have to actually play with GMs to make a GM norm. That's the first thing. You should, but according to like some norms, that's not the case. I don't know. I think the International Chess Federation is a pretty sad shape. Changing the rules, making it easier for people to make titles so they can add more money from the titles. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty hard to score 7. I don't think I've ever scored 7.5 out of 9 in a tournament in my life. It would have to be pretty weak. We all look back at things like Bobby Fischer winning the U.S. Championship with like a perfect score. I mean, that almost never happens in reality. How hard it is to dominate a tournament like that. Like, if you're not just legitimately better than everyone else in the tournament. Chess gets harder all the time. Now we have a really good advantage here. FIDE Arena Grandmaster. What is that exactly? You're like 2100 in Blitz or something? You just have to pay for your title or something. I think my best ever performance was probably like 25-50 in a round robin event. Well, in any event, I've probably had a few 25-50 performances, but that's about the maximum. Super names left getting in D5 here. He's got G7 protected. Looks like I was sleeping at the switch a little bit. No, this is still good. Alright, this is fine. As long as it's not going to de-isolate de-isolate his pawn, we're fine. But maybe I should have played E4. I'm not really sure. Dude, what absurd stuff are you talking about, man? Paul Morphy would be a grandmaster even today. That's like ridiculous. Talking a lot, man, but you're not saying anything. Morphy was extremely strong, dude. The guy was a freaking genius. He would be better than some of today's modern grandmasters, probably. $2100s are like a joke. Morphy would have been a grandmaster in any in any world, in any dimension. The guy was an insane genius. There's Queen A5, which is going to be a problem here. And this guy played like that and learned to play like that before anyone knew that was the way you're supposed to play. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm sure, dude, you could pick any modern grandmaster and pick one of their games apart, you know, and say, oh, he did this wrong, he did this wrong, you know. Anybody, you could pick one of their games and say, oh, this was incorrect. People aren't computers, you know. So, black's position isn't so bad here. Comparing Morphe to like a 2100 is the dumbest thing I ever heard of. This move might be a miscalculation, but it hinges on queen takes d5. Queen takes d5, queen takes a2, and then I can play rook a1 trying to trap his queen. That looks good enough, huh? You gotta watch rook d8, his queen is hanging, so this is good. I've got rook a1 winning, or even bishop takes g7. Rook a1. It's a good move, guys. Yep. Okay, there's queen takes, bishop takes, rook d8. That doesn't work. Alright, that's it. Stupinev played okay, but he was reckless here, not calculating enough. Alright, what's up? Who's next? Tushar? You seem in a hurry to get a challenge in today. You see, he's disappeared again. I wasn't wrong. It looks like Tushar's internet must be out, or he's got like bad Wi-Fi or something. We say Wi-Fi here in Eastern Europe, not Wi-Fi. But if we just go back one step, unfortunately, it's not that easy to defend black's pawn. But when playing such a position as this, I think that one should be like kind of thinking about it in a way of, if I lose the d-pawn, it's not the end of the world. I can probably still defend this position because white has a 4-on-3 majority on the king side, and a lot of endings with a 4-on-3, you know, might not be winning for white. So you really have to like resign yourself to losing this pawn on d5 and then reaching the best possible scenario, you know, to draw that ending with active defense or something like that. But queen a5 was a reasonable try. Unfortunately, you know, it just doesn't work because of this trap on a2. So, okay, Rabbit Chess is up next. He's back now. Yeah, Gary, we don't all, the world doesn't all live in the USA. d4, knight f6. Believe it or not, d4, knight f6, it's there's a lot of world outside of the great America. d4, knight f6, c4, e6. And maybe Rabbit Chess. Yesterday I played the King's Indian. I'm such a patriot. An expatriate. c4, e6. This I usually reserve to play more solidly. Either Nimzo, Queen's Indian. Sometimes the Blumenfeld Gambit. That's not solid though. Bogo Indian. Here I'm pretty much 100% Nimzo Indian. I was thinking, yeah, it'd be good to play the Benoni. I wanted to play the Benoni, but it's so much to learn and so tricky and difficult against strong players. So I've been playing this variation almost exclusively in the last couple months. Queen c2 seems like the best way against the Nimzo though. But it's really requiring a lot of theoretical knowledge. Oh, I'm supposed to be playing unusual openings. I forgot, guys. Sorry. Man, I can't get it through my head. Okay, anyway. Darn. Acerbate. It was too late. The warning came too late. Rabbit Chess doesn't care about the unusual openings. I know that for a fact. He wanted to play chess 960 today. He just wants to play, you know, good game against a strong player. Do I ever play the Hungarian opening? Okay, we had this question once, and I want to clarify what you're asking about. Okay, the Hungarian defense is, you know, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop e7. Is that what you're talking about, or do you mean something with white? You know, because when people play like 1g3, they're often talking about the so-called Benko. There's two names for the 1g3. Some people call it the Benko opening, and some people call it the Barca opening. ChessBase used to classify like 1g3 as Barca, after Laszlo Barca. I think it's Laszlo Barca. I'm not sure. Maybe it was Gedeon. Anyway, there's a Barca and there's a Barcai. There were two Hungarian grandmasters with slightly different names. Barcai is a little bit later generation. Barca, maybe it was Gedeon. I don't remember. But Barca was classified in a lot of sources as like the name of the opening for 1g3. Some places you see it say like the Benko opening, because he won some game with g3. And then some places you'll even see like 1g3, I guess, combined into the Hungarian opening, you know, because these two Hungarian grandmasters, Benko and Barca, played 1g3 and have like had it attributed to them. So that's my question. Are you talking about, okay, the one with bishop e7? I think Barca is actually Gedeon. The other one is Laszlo. I actually met Laszlo Barcai, but Barca was an older generation GM who was deceased, I guess, long ago. So bishop b7. Anyway, historical Hungarian chess facts for you. This is not an unusual opening. I'm sorry, guys. I messed up. Let's just play this. Well, I'm a little concerned about bishop d3 and him getting a good game there. d6 is off because of queen a4 check. Actually, one of the kids in one of my tournaments had a game that went like that. One of the little kids on our bottom boards. He played like white, and the guy did d6, and there was queen a4 check, knight c6, and then he tried like d5, but bishop takes, b takes, knight takes d5, and it didn't win a piece for white somehow. It looks exactly like his game from our team championship. But anyway, it's not a good idea to play d6 here, allowing queen a4 check, I think. c5 was the move I was thinking about. d5, queen a4 check, you know, probably also very dangerous. I don't like castles because of bishop d3. Although it's probably not that bad for black. Okay, maybe it's not that bad. He can do bishop d3. I guess I play like d6. If e4 takes, and knight d7. I'm hoping, though maybe it's still not too late to play c5 here. I'm going to change my mind to get a little more control of the center. This is not an unusual opening. I'm sorry, guys. I often forget to keep it in the realm of unusual openings. Just missed a chance to play Fortuit Folie. Folia, alu folia, they say in Hungarian. Alu folia for aluminum foil. C5. What does that mean, fortuit? Folly, like a folly? Fortunate mistake? Is it like, can we use our Latin skills from high school? Maybe? It means like fortunate mistake. Hungarian has some nice tricks against black, not familiar with it. I lost a really bad game in my simul on Sunday, actually playing the Hungarian defense of all things. Here there is the option to play bishop a5, which is interesting. But I think the problem is, you know, down the line, I'm gonna have problems with knight e4 transfer. If he castles, what am I gonna do? Maybe I can play d5 there. There's also weird things with knight a4 sometimes. It looks like bishop a5 is playable. Bishop a5 castles d5. But if he were to play something like cd, ed, knight a4, things would get really strange there. If I simply take and play the standard sort of setup, it's like a Bogo Indian. Bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, d6, say castles, or what is he going to do? This is much more solid for black. What? Wow, he turns it into like a same-ish Nimzo. This was definitely not what I expected. It could even be a direct transposition to a kind of standard same-ish Nimzo. 98, unfortunately, is normally a blockading move I'd like to make, but it's not playable at this juncture. d5 is certainly possible, but undoubles his pawns. So there's d6. Knight c6 is the other move. Well, what do we want to choose? d6 or knight c6? d6 e4. The problem with this could be, for one thing, White can play like a4, a5 on the queen side. So I normally like to play like knight c6, knight a5 in this type of structure. Maybe not be too late for that, but after e4, I mean, d6 doesn't seem like a move I necessarily needed to play. Yeah, this is a bit too passive for black, I think. Don't really like it. White has a good game here. Let's say I have e5. But e5, he takes twice, takes the pawn, and then I play something like queen e7. Not sure if I got enough play from my pawn. Take, 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 queen e7, f4. And then what? There's also rook e8. f4. Just doesn't look like I have quite enough compensation. And I regret having done this. Okay, I had an idea here. You can trust this Soltigo. He's our moderator. If he puts a link in the stream, you can click on it. Queen takes c3, of course queen takes c3 is expected. He transposed to a kind of lame variation, but I think I made an immediate mistake here with d6. This should be fine for black, but I should probably play something more direct. I mean, d5, if worse comes to worse, that would be a playable move. We transpose to another variation. But I was wondering if I can play knight c6 there. It'll be interesting after the game to see if this is actually theory. Now, my point here is that I have bishop takes f3. This was actually the first thing I looked at, and this is an insane move, rook g1. It's not totally insane, but pretty unorthodox. Well, we're just blockading, shutting his bishops down. I'm like, we can breathe now. Because e5 was really touch and go. I don't know, if he plays e5 there. Anyway, I don't have time to talk about it. He's just playing fast here. What's his move? d5. Alright. I'm not certain this is the best, but I'm down to 20 seconds to 3 minutes. This is not an unusual opening. Sorry for that, guys. It's a very usual opening. The Nimzo Indian defense is probably one of Black's most reliable defenses to d4. Queen's Gambit, Nimzo Indian, those would be the top in my opinion. Slav is, you can lump that into the Queen's Gambit if you want to. Next game we're going to play more unusual openings. Hungarian defense. Yeah, so I lost on the simul game against Morales, I think. Played a fantastic game in my Sunday simul. In Hungarian defense, he played a line where he closes the center with like d5. And then normally white plays c4, but Morales didn't do that. He put his knight like on c3. And then I got too ambitious with black. In the closed center, like this, I played for f5. And he just owned the white squares after that. The e4 square, it was very classical. So if you want to see a bad game by me, you can go in my history, look on Sunday's games, check out the Sunday simul. Yeah, g3 is a strong move. I'm not quite sure what I'm up to here. Beating a hasty retreat, basically. White's playing very well. Strategically. Stratego. I think knight h5 was even bad. I haven't had a game like this against anybody in like years. I mean, almost no one plays the closed Nimzo against me here on lichess. This is like, maybe it's a master thing. I don't know. But we just never get games like this against anybody. Rabbit Chess playing like a strong positional master here. He usually used to play e4. Now he's been playing d4. But this is one of his best positional games that I've seen. Rook g1 is, I thought, inflexible, but actually it's not bad placed here at all. You know, he could castle on either side. Probably, ultimately, he'd probably feel safer castling on the king side with the broken pawns on the queen side. But I wasn't well focused in this game. Too distracted. Man, he's like on the verge of flagging me. Very uncomfortable position for black. Position. Do not try this at home. He could have sacked a piece, probably there. It's a good thing it's an increment with 3 seconds. I almost lost on time yesterday with a 2-second increment. That's gotta go. This is still kind of ugly passive for black. All I can do is like blockade here. G5 looks like a horrible move. I mean, I'm happy to take a draw. I'm just clearly worse. The last couple of moves were bad. He wasn't that much better, but I made it worse here. This is probably not so bad, but I make it worse by putting weakening too much on the king side. The best case scenario, even with the bad bishop, white is slightly better here. Very, very bad position for me. So there's Aronian versus Carlson from 2010. I had the feeling that c5 is the best move. But white's position is not to be underestimated. The Stockfish claims that white doesn't have an advantage, but white is distinctly not worse here. After c5, a3. Strange that that's the most common move in this position. I mean, I don't know. Is it really bad to castle? Anatoly Karpov played this with black. Everyone played bishop takes f3. I guess I didn't realize how bad this really is for white. I don't think it's that horrible. I don't know. Can it be that bad? Karpov versus some random guy in 1976. C takes d4, e takes d4, knight c6, going for the dark squares. Then a couple other games later. I mean, I don't know. It's not that bad for white, but he did a3, and then we transpose. Majority of players here play queen takes c3, which is what I would expect. I mean, that move it's much safer for white. But b takes c3, and then d6. I didn't like this move, man. I mean, this is interesting that Krivoruchko played this as well. I wasn't really thrilled about d6, but I don't know. I mean, knight c6 is more natural looking. The thing is, what are you going to do after this? If I try to play like a blockade sort of setup, it looks like I may be getting in trouble. Like f5. This looks kind of dangerous for black. So I don't know what to do here. I mean, d6 was played, e4 was played, and then there's some Poganina game, Savic. They both won with black, but I don't think that black is better here. To me, it looks like white is better. It's a coincidence that both these players won. To me, it looks like white is just slightly better here. I don't know. What's so great about this position? The engine recommends c takes d, undoubling their doubled pawns and playing knight on bd7. But there's a danger that that bishop could become very strong, like on this diagonal. We are playing e5 here, though. Maybe that's the right idea, opening it up a little bit. Because I got a really bad position after this. I should have opened it up with c takes d. It just seems strange to do that and undouble his pawns. Now I just went completely haywire with knight h5, which really doesn't make sense here. This just loses time. But I don't really have a good plan. You know, I have no way to get my pieces in the game, so white is slightly better. So, ironically, the best move for black is to play c takes d and undouble white's doubled pawns. And there's play along like the c file, and the ability to play like e5 when I'll have an outpost for my knight on c5. Okay, guys, we learned something in that game. Troll in a Roll has challenged me again. I don't know why. As far as challengers, we've got no more subscribers, I think. Crucifix made of hot dogs. That's heresy. Heresy. God is watching me. Why are you guys talking about? Oh no, the light. Oh no, the light. Oh my God. Hold on a second. We've got to do some technical maintenance. Is that enough? I haven't had this problem in a long time. Alright, let's see. We still got it. Still got it. Alright, wait. We can... blot out the light of God. Alright. That should do it. I didn't know what you guys were talking about. It's not too bad now. Okay. So, back to our challenges here, guys. I have about an hour and 15 minutes. I gotta go by 2 or 12:15. Yeah, I don't know. That's so strange. We haven't had that in a long time. The sparkling light of God. I have something to block the sunlight is extremely bright and blinding on the roof here. All right. So back to Nabil Hassan chess. Please don't be a rated challenge. No rated challenges. We got one there trying to sneak in. And he's 2021. 2021. Nice try with the rated. Casual 5+3 through 7+3, guys. Unusual openings. Don't let me forget. Thanks for reminding me. Is that where you got your name Sparkle Horse from? No. Sparkle Horse is a... Sparkle Horse was a musician. Alright. E4, and we'll play, let's play an Alekine's Defense. I haven't played it much lately, so I guess it's classified as unusual. Not extremely so. I always thought Knight F6 is probably like the most aggressive move you can play with black. Keeping it in the frame of the Alekine's Defense, obviously playing E5 is a Vienna game. I mean, that's what I get. A lot of people, you know, it's funny, like when you play the Alekine's Defense, or Aliokin, a lot of people play Knight C3, but the weird thing about it is, like, how many people play the Vienna game with white? You know, how can so many people play Knight C3 against Aliokin's defense? Alekine, Aliokin, whatever. We have the Western way of saying it and the correct way of saying it. E takes D5, Knight takes D5. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just unbelievable how often people play Knight C3 here. But there's no way that many people play, you know, I guess they're just bluffing. You know, did they really know the Vienna game? How popular is the Vienna game with white? Okay, Knight F3. When I've played this in the past, I've mostly used this pin on G4. It's not really the most common position. I'm sure that there's more than one way to interpret this. I've also played Knight F4, but I think that's going too far. You risk falling behind in development too much here. I remember years ago I had like white in a simul game against a guy. It was like a 2000 player. He did something like that against me, and it was really complex. The problem with taking on C3 ultimately becomes how to defend your queen side. Along the B file. Nabil Hassan had a draw against me yesterday in the rapid tournament we played. He had a terrible position but defended really well. And almost ended up going from -8 to like winning. So he seems like a really good practical player. Here, I don't know. I guess I play C6. I've played C6 pretty often. Just to be on the solid side. This may be a little bit too sharp. He's got to earn some money to be a sub. But don't do anything like dangerous. Don't like, you know, start building roofs or something. Start roofing to pay for your subscription. Knight C6. And it's really a boring line. But I mean, he's facing a player who's 400 points higher. He doesn't want to take a lot of risks, I understand. Very safe position for white. It's basically like a queen's gambit. This is transitioned to a queen's gambit, almost, where I'm playing the white side of the queen's gambit exchange variation. Just chopping wood here. Oh man. It's just a draw, basically. You play the aggressive knight f6, and this is what you get, you know. This is what I get for playing the Alekhine or Alekhine's defense. The Sporing, Queen's Gambit. Man. Where did I go wrong in life? I have to find something more interesting, but it's hard here, you know. What are you going to do? Basically an extremely solid style of play by white. Now I have no minority attack because I can't support b5. Maybe rook c8. His pieces are dangerous. What if I play this? I can play bishop f8, defend my g7 point, and maybe f6 at some point, and then try to initiate some play on the queen side. But if I had to play this position all my life, I would quit chess, honestly. It's extremely boring. I guess I'm half to blame, huh? A technical exercise. Ooh. Queen b5. Needless to say, white is a very practical player. He's also fast. But now we've got play. Standard minority attack. I thought queen b6 would have been the trickiest there. Structurally, it's a little bit better for black, but I mean, still objectively, it's still a draw. Anyway, the faster this game is over, the happier I'll be. It's not really the excitement I was hoping for. What if I could consider taking the other way there? Here he has a backward pawn on b2. How fast can his king go? Just gets over there. It's amazing. I'm sure this is a good move. I have e5. Now is the time. The game just keeps changing structure on me. We have d4 potentially. I want to keep all my options open. He's an insane defender, really. I think now it might be getting to be too much. This really looks awfully good for black. But really, like yesterday, he defended a position where I just didn't think it was even possible. If I get two connected past pawns, it should be devastating. But I think he's playing a little too fast. You know, not really trying to find the best move, just trying to play like a move, a reasonable move fast. I don't like that philosophy very much, and I made it openly known. I think especially in an increment game, you need to use all your time. I mean, in a worst case scenario, you have 3 seconds per move. Basically, Nabil Kassan is playing like he only has 3 seconds per move. But why play like you have 3 seconds per move when you have, you know, an extra 2 minutes? You really should use all of your time. This is mate, right? Not that easy. We got to be accurate. Check, check. Bishop b4 and then mate. So he just played too fast. I mean, I think he had a defensible position, but he started losing the center and melted down. Have you ever had the chance to play Grishuk? I played Grishuk in pool. No, once I played Grishuk, I was really drunk. I was like, I don't remember everything from that night. Definitely played Grishuk in pool, and I played a very entertaining blitz game on ICC. It was actually recorded by someone. If you look on YouTube, you might be able to find it. It was a Scandinavian with knight f6, and I was black. So he beat me though. It wasn't some tournament on ICC, but it was a really cool game. I played an interesting opening, but ended up losing. Okay, let's go back. Casual 7+3. Nepomniachtchi I never met, but he seems like a really interesting player. I like his games a lot. Seems like there's some connection between Nepomniachtchi and Morozevich, which I'm not that, you know, knowledgeable about their interpersonal relationship, but there's definitely a non-secret similarity there. Okay, unusual openings. Let's play a Verisov or a Dunst opening. Play a random rated game. Yeah, my head hurts. I like to play like rated games in the afternoon when I'm more like awake. Knight c3, knight f6. Verisov I was talking about, right? We could actually play a Trompowsky. I don't normally play that either. So for me, even the Trompowsky is an unusual opening. Now effing x is trying to get me to like transpose to a Pirtz, but that's more of like a mainstream opening, so I feel kind of like, well, what can I do though? You know, I tried to play an unusual opening with knight c3, but now I'm stuck here. You know, do I keep trying to play unusual moves? I mean, bishop g5, knight on bd7, I'm not really thinking that's that good for white. So, well, more or less, we tried to play an unusual opening. Now we don't really, you know, what are we going to do? Like, make bad moves? If we transpose with a normal Pirtz, let's try to play something kind of different there. If he does play a normal Pirtz, we can try to find within this opening a sub-variation. Sub-variations. Two shark. The two shark. Knight b1. Knight b1 would be just bad. Just plain bad. This is a line. This is a real line. I don't know how good it is, but it's been played. It's worthy of consideration in some legitimate Pirtz defense books. When facing this, I think I recommended c5 for black. Normally a strike in the center is called for when there's this wing advance. It's a little like the Barry attack in the King's Indian. Go Harry! Exactly. Typical Livonian candidates performance. I don't know, man. I give up. I like Levon a lot, but it's just I can't root for him anymore. It's just too painful to watch him crash and burn. Yeah, take back. Too painful for Levon to just watch him crash and burn. I'm not going to even talk about it anymore. I didn't have high hopes for Kramnik this time around, but his start was like, all right, you know, Kramnik then. If it's not going to be Aronian, it'll be Kramnik, you know. Now they're both tied for last place. It's like, I feel like I cursed them, you know, by rooting for those guys. I literally cursed them. E6 is a sort of strange move. Still think you should try to strike somehow with C5. Well, I mean, now we just start thinking about... We've got our Harry down there, right? I've never really watched Simon Williams describe one of these Harry attacks, but can only imagine. Alright, now Queen D2, try to castle, connect our rooks, and mate him down the H-file. That would be the standard ploy. What happened to Anand? Anand, we've had enough of Anand. Anand was shelved. He was already shelved, and it's a good thing. He's just there to get the money, basically. Anand is just there for the paycheck. I don't want to see him in the World Championship anymore. That was a good thing, that there was a no Anand in the candidates tournament. He just likes collecting his $1 million for a match that he didn't really put up any fight for. Not cool. So E5... I'm going to like lose a tempo here if I just trade queens on D8. He's like a tempo down, but he's getting away with this to some extent. Maybe I ought to play D5, but then he has C6. This is the question. D5, C6, and there's some counterplay. We're slightly better. This guy's 1490. Was this the rated game? I'm trying to keep the tension here, but I can't ignore the pressure on this pawn. D5, C6. I guess we can get away with that. The question is, how are we going to react? Are we going to take on C6, develop his pieces for him? We're going to let him play C6 and C takes D5. Then what am I doing here? How fast is my attack? Is it fast enough even? You know, I'm not so sure. I gave him a take back. Now I'll probably lose the game. D5, C6, castles. And then he takes and I have to take back with the pawn, which is sort of stupid looking. I mean, I still should have a strong attack, I guess. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Maybe this is accidentally a good move. Probably not. Whoops. Now I need a take back. Embarrassing. I meant to take on... No, I meant to play D5 and then castle. MVL should be in the tournament. I mean, you see a lot of stupid posts by people in like forums and stuff. Like, oh, we'll let Kramnik in the tournament, you know? He's old, and the guy was like winning with 2.5 out of 3 in the first 3 rounds, you know? I still think it's a random tournament. Anybody could win it. Now, that's just taking on D4 there for black is good. Now he's got problems. So there's too many blunders in this game. He blundered, I blundered, he blundered, I blundered, he blundered, and then we won as queen. But I think there has to be a fair system. You know, Kramnik totally legitimately qualified for the candidates tournament. I mean, give me a break. The guy is like 2,800. You know, should he not be included in the candidates tournament or what? This like retroactive, like making fun of Kramnik for a bad result. Whatever, man. I mean, Anand definitely didn't deserve to be in the candidates tournament this time around. Kramnik did. You know, he's 2,800. Okay, there has to be legitimate, you know, qualification. Grishuk didn't really do anything to deserve to be in the tournament, and he's doing better than Kramnik. He's doing better than most of the players. That shows how random it is. You know, you just take a random 2760 player, throw him in there, and he's like in third place. You know, because it's one tournament. I mean, that's the reason why the whole tournament system is stupid. You should have matches to determine like a qualification for the World Championship, not some Swiss system or round robin. One tournament is going to produce a random winner. You know, what do you expect? Karyakin. Well, Karyakin's still better than Anand in any kind of World Championship match. He was not bad last time. He did great. I mean, kudos to Karyakin for putting up a massive fight, almost winning the match against against Carlsen. Why is today's stream so long? I've only been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes, but it seems like I've been streaming forever. And we're running out of challengers, which never happens. Alright, cool. He plays an unusual opening here against me with a b4, and then we can counter with an unusual reply. This was a game I had against this Ukrainian or Russian guy, Ivanets, in the New York Open once. Should b2 may be a mistake because of queen b6. And now I have a5 breaking his structure. Oh, he knows this. 1608. New account. I shouldn't have played him because he doesn't have many games. But he knows this trap. It's like a 1608 playing the b4, and he knows this variation better than the old master there. So c4. Now I don't have anything special, I guess. The point is that if you take here, he has a c5, this weird intermezzo. Then after queen takes c5, a takes b4 wins a rook. But I normally don't play people who have less than 100 games. He has not even 100 games played. Sometimes they're like trolling me. Alright, whatever. Now my queen is just randomly on b6 for no particular great reason. Fortuit Foliate, thanks for challenging, man. I mean, I don't know why the stream is seeming like slow today. Now I suddenly have 5 challenges. Soltigo, Oanis, cool. I've got, you know, 45 minutes left. No, I didn't say he played random move. I didn't say he played random moves. This is totally my game with the Ivanets guy from the New York Open. But not that many people who are, especially like 1600, know this obscure variation, like c4, a takes b, c5, you know. That's pretty freaking obscure, to be honest with you. The only problem with Grishuk is that he spends all his time looking for the best move. It sounds like me. That's my problem too. Yeah. But I mean, dude, his performance in this tournament is terrific considering he probably prepared less than the other players, and he also is playing sharp openings like the King's Indian and Benoni. I mean, the dude hasn't lost a game, has he? I mean, he's been lost in a game or two, but he's actually not lost a game. No, he lost the first round. I take it back. Of course, he lost to Kramnik in round 1, which was a great game. Okay, now Dracofire has this move. d4. So it's presumably the same trick? No. Yeah. Same trick. Different day. Well, at this point, though, I have to kind of guard myself about like him playing c5. Maybe after take c5, I should just play like queen d8 or something. Tricky situation. He's got c5. Is it a good move or not? You know, what if I just develop my pieces and forget about this nonsense, you know, trying to win a pawn? At the end of the day, my queen seems misplaced on c5 or b6. Okay, I have brain damage. I'm constantly saying the wrong word. Like I have dyslexia. The Polish e45, knight f3, knight c6, bishop a6. What's that? Okay. I mean, Grisham, yeah, he underestimates. What do you mean the audience? You mean like the live audience or people in like chess forums and stuff like that? I mean, Grishuk was like a wild card, right? I mean, he didn't really qualify for the tournament, and he hasn't had any crazy good results, has he? He does keep his rating up, though. He didn't even play in the Russian Championship, so the super final, did he? I mean, I guess he's almost too high rated for that, though. Usually like one of those guys like Svidler or whoever. What about queen c7 versus queen d8? Why do I feel like it's better to play queen d8? Because my queen could be potentially exposed on c7. I guess he's just an expert on the Polish opening. He refuted my refutation. The refutation is not that good because of this, I guess. I can't remember my game with Ivanets. To be honest, what happened after that? It was a complicated position and I ended up winning, but it wasn't because of the opening that I won. I was just higher rated than the guy. The guy was like 2300 and I was like almost 2480 or something. Bishop g4, castles. I really like to get my kingside developed, but how? Let's just get all the pieces developed. Guys, we got about 40 minutes left, 45 minutes. No, Mamedyarov is really legit. I just didn't know if he would, you know, hold up against Carlsen in the match format, you know, how it would go. I just didn't think he was the optimal player to face Carlsen in the match. That's why I wasn't rooting for him. Not because I didn't think he would do well in this tournament, because he is doing well and I expected him to do well. But I didn't want him to do well because I didn't think he was the best choice to face Carlsen. Nothing personal, Mr. Mamedyarov, but you have like no experience playing like World Championship matches or matches. So I would have preferred a different player, more experienced. One of the older guys, basically, strongest Kramnik and Aronian, but it's irrelevant now. This guy seems awfully good for 1608. I don't want his knight coming to c4. It's like I'm playing Yuri Lapshin or something. Some kind of... It's exactly like playing Lapshin, like a 2400 IM who plays this with white. He plays basically the same. Maybe bishop f5 there would allow knight h4 though. It's a lot like my game with Lapshin, except his queen was on c1. Because usually against b4 I play d5 and bishop g4, but I wanted to play something different here. Z Fox, you drew Carlson and Atomic, right? If you have a better position, I feel like I'm playing by a thread. What is that? B5. I hope I can play B6. I don't really like any of my other options here. But whoever Draco Fire is, he's not like 1600. He's playing this very well strategically. Seems stronger than that. White's at least equal here. A4, that's double-edged. What do? Do I take or do I push to C5? Kind of hard to call, actually. In any case, it's like fully equal. White is not worse. Either way we play it, with takes on B5 or C5, it looks like riskier to play C5, give him a protected pass pawn. This extremely advanced strategic move here, bishop A3. Trading off his bad bishop for my good bishop. Another strong move. And then I don't know what to do. C5 is risky because it gives him protected pass pawn. Not playing C5. I guess we should keep the tension. Then he's taking on C6. I have absolutely nothing there. Guess we try C5. Maybe I take on F3 first. Maybe we do this and we trade our bishop off and hope that the two knights are better in the ending. That looks like a plan. He has this protected pass pawn. Yeah, I'll eat my hat if this guy is 1600. Extremely sophisticated positional play. Now he's threatening knight C6. So I'd be prepared to get that out of there. This is a huge idea strategically. I had to be able to extricate that piece or eliminate that piece from the position. But now I have a problem. It's got to go. Master strength positional play by White. He's still not worse. Maybe even better. I'm not sure about trading or not trading. If he goes to E7, it kind of gets trapped in there. He lost on time, but I think it's equal. So the computer thinks he's better. So he has the protected pass pawn. I don't think White even made many inaccuracies. But see, this is theory. Udasin against Yepitian. White is better here, probably. D4 is best move. Wow. So I'm supposed to take here. Maybe this is an important move. Kujal played it. Lapshin against Gonzalez. See what I'm talking about? This guy played like Lapshin. The random 1600 on lichess. He has like 16 centipawn loss, 1 inaccuracy. Interesting. Okay, Awanis is up next. Yeah, I guess I'm underrated with the 1600 and 1 centipawn loss. Sure, dude. Knight F6. You just need faster mouse skills and you'll be like 2500. Knight F6, C4. Alright, we got to play unusual openings. I almost forgot. Last time we had an idea, we had an epiphany to play the Snake Benoni. Let's try the Snake Benoni again. Of course, I'm kind of telling him what I'm going to play. We did this once last time against Ananas. Fun opening though. There was a time when I played this in Blitz. I never dared to play it in a tournament game. I was playing in Zalakaros Open last year. In the last round, my friend from Romania, International Master Alex Manea, played the Snake Benoni against some guy. He said he had never played it before in his life, and he just randomly played it. I couldn't bring myself to do that, you know, to just randomly play like a strange opening in a tournament game on a whim, you know, and he ended up beating the guy, like a pretty strong FIDE master from India or something. But I have to have a little bit of experience with something to play it. I think I couldn't just on a whim do that. Now, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, f5. This is something we have to calculate. It feels like it's wrong for me to do this combination. Knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, f5, castles, pawn takes pawn. It's very complicated. I'm behind in development, you know. Thinking that that's not working. So we need to revert back to kind of like standard plan here. I just don't think I have the development to justify this combination. We'll see after the game. Lubat strikes again. Excessive use of caps. No need for caps. Okay, guys, I got time for a couple more challenges. We've got 35 minutes left. 35 minutes left. At least 2 more challenges. Ananas is here. Okay, we'll take his challenge next since he's a subscriber. I was just speaking of Ananas because Ananas, you were the only other person that I've played a Snake Benoni against in recent memory. So h3 here seems like very prophylactic. I mean, I haven't even like threatened to develop my bishop yet. He's playing h3 first, but you know, I could play bishop a5 though. Even there, I'm questioning if I'm legitimately threatening to win material yet. This is why it's the Snake Benoni. Bishop moving in snake fashion, slithering around through d6, c7, and a5. I'm absolutely not sure about this. This looks very time-consuming. I mean, the plan itself is good. You know, it's a standard maneuver, but the timing of it, I'm not sure about. It feels like I'm just moving the same piece again and again. I mean, I guess if he plays e5 or something crazy, I could do d6. I was actually calculating e5, knight takes d5, bishop takes h7 check, king takes h7, knight g5 check, and a little bit concerned about that. So he fell for a tactic. For better or for worse, I think the position is still not that bad for white after losing this pawn. He has some kind of strategic compensation because I'm facing a situation where my queen side is undeveloped and I don't have really good control over certain squares like d6. Here's a tough call now. You can trade pieces, or we can play knight b4 and go for his bishop. I think that's safer. But I still argue that he has compensation for the lost pawn here. It's almost like a Smith-Morra or something. It doesn't really look like a Smith-Morra, but I mean the effective backwardness giving him compensation is like what you'd see in a Smith-Morra. Actually, his setup is almost identical to a Smith-Morra in terms of piece configuration. So it was a bad tactical mistake, but his position is so good that It's still not that bad. Now I have a really interesting move here, b6. Leaves my bishop very dubious out there on it. What is that bishop doing anyway? But I was thinking b6, bishop c4, d5. In a way, this sort of protects my a5 bishop. It also blocks it in, so I don't know. What do I mean by protecting it exactly? I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I don't know. This is dangerous for my a5 bishop. It's kind of a cheapo. But I have bishop b7, I have tactics with knight takes d3, and I want to get my other bishop out, you know? So it's a problem. How do you get both of these bishops into the game effectively? Perhaps I should have just played like d5 straight away here. I mean, obviously there's lots of moves for black. Can't say I'm really happy about bishop g5. But I can play f6. This tremendously weakens my king side. It's funny, he didn't play bishop c4. Now I have takes in bishop a6, but he has the devastating Dr. d5. It's a little bit risky for black with my king open with f6, obviously. But I figure I can always cover with bishop e6. I'm sure that I missed a lot of better moves here. Rook b1 threatening a3 and b4. It's a little slow. It's not a nimzo. I think the bigger question is my bishop just not necessarily getting physically trapped. It's just out of the game. That's the problem here. Not like that it's literally going to get trapped. It could, but there's too much happening in the center right now. Don't feel like I'm concentrating very well today. Not enough oxygen. I think I need to open the window. He was banned. Surprisingly. Where's Ben Feingold? Will the real Ben Feingold please stand up? There was this player like last year who used to pretend they were Jennifer Shahadi. And usually a woman. I have the feeling it might be the same person. They're always impersonating some chess personality. Now e5 anyway. I guess it's time to win material, huh? But even there he's got queen takes d5. Man, oh man. I need to develop more forces. What is up with my bishop on a5? My goodness. What are we going to do with that? I want to take here and get rid of it. I could have done that. Uh-oh. Okay, the time has come. He's got some knight g5s. Bishop a6 is interesting. Then knight d6 doesn't look good. Complicated though. He can still play e6 here. This game just gets weirder and weirder all the time. Alright. Let's try to keep it simple as possible. Takes this. Now my bishop is safe. And I was worried about knight to g5 lines. As crazy it is, like f takes e, knight g5, but I mean objectively he's like losing. Still, there's knight takes e5, which looks more straightforward. Keep it more simple. If knight g5, I take his knight. it's they're much more easy to deal with. But now we're winning. But there was a lot of weird stuff that was unclear in this game to me. What's the best move now? It's a cagey move, queen f5. Oh, I'm gonna... No, it's alright. I can allow knight c7. I'm gonna win on time. Okay, we were winning objectively. I guess the whole game was okay. I want to see the opening though. Is this correct? Bishop d6, knight f3, castles. Castles is not the only move. Maybe bishop c7. Vugar Gashimov. I didn't realize he was playing the Snake Benoni as well. I got 45 centipon loss. Man, not easy to play this. So e4, rook e8, bishop d3. Apparently bishop c7 is Gashimov and the main move. Well, there is no other move. Okay, bishop c7. The next move is the question now. He played h3. I questioned this, like, why do we need to play h3 with white here? It's not a bad move, but it's not necessary. So you're supposed to castle. Now Stockfish likes h3. It just doesn't seem necessary. Castles. Black has a winning score in this position. Wow. I had questions about bishop a5. I thought I should have played d6 retrospectively. Mietsis is one of the people that I know that plays this. The only grandmaster I know who plays it regularly for black. Bishop a5, you know, yeah, he should just castle. Did I look at this? No, I would just go d6. Was this an idea? Was I thinking about this? Oh, okay, this variation. That's probably good for white. But I do have d6 there. So you need to castle. And this is like a really good pawn sacrifice. I mean, if this is a position where black has no development, you know, this is just bad. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. Knight g5. All my pieces are at home. Time out over here, so I can't do that. Okay, Ananas is next. And I think I'll have one more game after that. Yeah, let's see if we get an ISP ban on the troll. Ananas, unusual openings. I used my Snake Benoni already, so, and yesterday I played the weird Benoni against him as well. Running out of weird things to play. What can we do? Unusual opening for Ananas. He always plays solid Catalan stuff with white. No, I think we'll go with maybe knight f6. He usually plays c4, and then I don't remember what we did. Did I ever play the Budapest against you? I've definitely played this against other players. I don't remember if I played it against Ananas per se. I like bishop f4 personally. This variation should be okay for black. It's pineapple in many languages. Yeah, no, it's not just Russian. I mean, it's German. But maybe that's where it came from. Is it like Cyrillic or something? I mean, where did Did we have this discussion once before? Is some ancient Greek word or something? Knight c6. It's an ancient Cyrillic word for pineapple. Knight c3. So that cuts out any putting my queen on e7 variations. Interesting line there for white that I've played is bishop d2. Well, in any case, this has got to be like the main line. Everything is fine. What's going on in here? Says who? Free Helios. Nothing's going on. What's up? It's German for pineapple. They're claiming it's Russian for pineapple too. How can it be German and Russian for pineapple? Is that possible? Where did it originate from? That's my question. Maybe it originated even, you know, older than that. It's like caveman for pineapple. Bishop e2. Bishop e2, castles kingside or a5. What are we doing? d6, queen e7. I don't want to play d6 here. Too early. The a5 looks early. I mean, castles is totally standard. This has got to be main line. It can because the word is neither German or Russian. You see, that's what I'm saying. It's ancient Greek. Castles, rook e8. Developing my rook. Doesn't matter, we can argue about stupid things all day. Let's focus on chess. We've got 20 minutes left. This game and one more I'm going to have time to play. Unless there's like a super fast game next. Now, on the b3, we play a5, stopping his advance on the queen side. NNS seems like he's pretty well booked up in mainline openings. This is just... He's gurgitating theory here. Knight a4 is gotta be, that's gotta be book. I think I played d6 against somebody in this position, actually, on intuitive principles. Because I hate bishop f8 so much. If he has time to play c5, I feel like I don't like my position. But I don't know any theory, I'm just on my own here. Knight a4 must be all book. But if he gets in c5, I think I have a bad position. Bishop f8, c5. I don't really like it. How bad is d6? Well, slightly better for white, I guess. You see, Bob says acids irritate the gums. But isn't pineapple in like baby foods and stuff? So I don't understand. Or you just can't get away from this pineapple discussion. Yeah, ananas camosus. So Latin would be my guess. I said ancient Greek. But you know what I mean. It's all the same to me. It's all Greek. Oh, D takes c5. Ugly structure, but maybe it's not that bad. That's all I can say at this point. Maybe it's not that bad. My problem is that I had this position once before, and I thought it was against someone else, but it could have been ananas and I didn't remember. But my problem here is that basically after bishop f8, I just don't like my position. It just looks gross. Bishop f8, c5, but maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I do bishop f8, c5, and d6, and that's our improvement. We'll have to have a good look after the game this time, because the last time I played this line, I don't think I really looked at it after the game, and that's why we have a problem now. I really want to play b6. but there's f4 followed by bishop f3 stuff, and I think the d5 square just falls into the enemy hands. What would my teammate Pro Rock Martin play in this position? Queen h4 comes to mind. Pro Rock really likes to get his queen out there. That's got to be a good idea. He would appreciate this game. Maybe I'll print it out and bring it to him on next week. He's like a totally tactical player and doesn't care about like endgames or positional play. But he's still like 2300. Just on tactics. He doesn't do anything else. He only does tactics. So this kind of thing is perfect for him. The more chaotic and weird, the better. Rook a6. Gotta do it. But I do have to watch my back rank. Clearance, the third rank, the river guarding rook. This is the most fun reason to play the Budapest Gambit. My preference in chess books for learners. Recommendations. No, I've never written. I've informally talked about it a lot here on my stream, here and there. If you put apples on a Christmas tree, it would make them pineapples. Bad jokes. Okay, my queen protects d8 from back rank mate ideas. That's kind of key. Man, I've got rook h6 here. We can't resist the temptation to play this move. Don't resist the temptation. h3, I have no idea what I'll play there. I mean, even rook g6 looks pretty strong. So guys, we have time for one more game after this. I've got to leave a little early today. Usually I stream, from next week we'll be streaming till 12:30 every day, but with the time change still not lined up properly. When you're playing against noob, I'm playing for attack, dude. Well, I'm playing this maniac opening. What do you expect? Like it's the Budapest Gambit. Well, I try not to encourage people to play like maniacs, you know. I think it's bad habit. But I've been sitting next to my second board on the Budapest Team Championship long enough to see enough of these that, you know, well, I mean, I actually experimented with the Budapest 25 years ago, but I never really had that much faith in it. Can you just take on h3 with the bishop? That would be the main idea. If he doesn't have anything there, yeah, he's probably toast. Of course, bishop takes h3 just wins by force. It's pretty devastating. Bishop takes h3 with the threat of bishop takes g2, but there may be some in-between moves he could have. This is like the classic trap in the Budapest. And I live in Budapest, so it's perfectly fitting that I play this. 1,000! What? Is that from Free Helios? Awesome. I'm being rewarded for this direct attack thing, which I never do. I do realize that I don't play for direct attack very often. I mean, our chess styles kind of, they kind of change over the years, and because I play a lot of strong players, I think, you know. If I played a lot of weak opens and stuff, maybe I would be more like in the old days in the club. I would play more liberally. But when you play like tons and tons of round robin tournaments against really strong players, I think it has an effect on your style. My style changed when I came to Hungary and I started playing like GM tournaments every month. I used to play a little bit more directly aggressive chess. This seems to be working. Really nothing secret here. Bishop takes g2. Looks difficult to meet. I thought his only defense was g3. So I can play like tactical chess when I want to, but you know, it only works to a certain extent. Like if you're playing GMs and IMs who are really professional players, it's kind of like playing computers. It eventually beats you down and forces you to like change the way you play chess. I don't recommend playing too many computers. They're just too strong. Here he could have played g3, but he's losing anyway. So his only defense is to take on e5 first, and that doesn't seem like a great defense at all. So maybe he's just lost here. Okay, he could have chopped initially with bishop takes e5. This was the best shot. Take, and then try to defend. Looks like he can hang on here. Now, actually, he's not worse. So it's not just hanging on, but he has to recognize the danger. You know, it's very important not to have a bad sense of danger, a weak sense of danger. So in this position, it turns out that knight a4 is not the main line. It's usually bishop b2, but knight a4 may be the best move. Only one player has played my move d6, and it was a draw, so black did not lose. The engine doesn't mind bishop b. Actually, the engine wants to play bishop b7, which is a novelty, almost a novelty, one game. But I would give Stockfish more time here with a stronger computer. It looks like most people play bishop f8. I was afraid of c5. Mohamed Almadiaki and Joseph Farintos. So Farintos making this truly the Budapest Gambit. This is actually not a problem apparently because of d6. And that was my main concern, but it looks like f4 is a problem. So if I seriously start playing the Budapest Gambit, we'll have to have a closer look at this. Mietsis, we're just playing all kinds of Mietsis openings. The Snake, Benoni, the Budapest Gambit. He's a cool guy from Latvia. Started chess very late. Those of you who say you can't become a strong player, I think Normas Mietsis like didn't start playing chess till he was like 20 years old or older. So he became a grandmaster and pretty quickly, learning the game at age 20. That's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, last game for today. Rakesh Cool. So we have a subscriber that I'm missing here. But anyway, on another subject. So thanks a lot for the bits donation from Free Helios with 1,000 bits. Thanks very much. The Queen's saving the back rank mates on d8 and stuff like that. Why is the lichess database? Well, it's not really you know, a professional database, troll. There's a lot of games missing. It doesn't have old games, which are very important. It doesn't have, what are we going to do here? Well, let's play the Scandinavian with knight f6. I haven't done that in a while. Uh-oh. I think Rakesh thought I was playing the Sicilian. But speaking of my teammate, Pro Rock Marzi, he actually has done this gambit. I don't know what you call it. It's in the same spirit of the Budapest with like knight g5. I've seen him play this. I have no idea what it's called. It's not as good though, because in the Budapest I've like weakened my queen side with c5. So here I haven't made that move. This is more like an England gambit with colors reversed or something like that. Though I'm not sure if I'm supposed to really try to hang on to this pawn, or how long am I supposed to hang on to this pawn for. I guess it's still thematic. There's bishop f5, d3 takes queen f3. Bishop d7 maybe. That's kind of creeping me out. I have never actually studied this, which is not a surprise, is it? Bishop f5, f3 must be critical. Then we could play a different move, obviously. We could just let him have the pawn back. I mean, I think that's a very sensible way of playing this position. Knight c6, I suppose. Or then knight takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4. And then what do we do? Where does my bishop go, for example? c6 with Caro-Kann. Yeah, let's do that, man. We'll just frustrate him. It'll be like a Caro-Kann. He has no fun here. Okay, I'm kind of copping out. I don't know. He has this move. I don't know the theory of this. I have to admit I know nothing about this opening. I mean, nobody serious would ever play this in a tournament game with white, but it looks like now I'm like justified his opening. I think he should take the pawn back objectively, but it's not forced. I could play queen d4, try to hang on to the pawn. If knight d7, he sacks a piece on e6. I don't think that's sound. It would be one thing if the file was open, but I don't think that's working here. I was seriously concerned about f3. Pawn takes pawn, queen takes. And then I was looking at bishop d7, queen takes b7. And what I didn't like was like knight c6, knight b5, double attacking c7 and threatening queen takes a8, followed by knight takes c7 check. I don't know how I deal with that. I'm just basically trying to equalize here. Opening fail for black. I should be able to refute this thing, or at least get a comfortable position, but yeah, that critical position I'm not sure about. Now it's a tiny bit better for white, looking like a drawish kind of game, but my bishop needs to get back into the game somehow, so we're going to need to get it out on the queen side, it looks like. We could play e5 yet. Now after d4, we could play e5 to break out. Well, f4 is really aggressive. I'm not sure I want to castle. I mean, I can castle, it's fine, but I could think about other things too. Bishop d7 seems logical. c5 unfortunately allows bishop b5 check. Then king e7, f5 or something like that starts to get a little bit weird. I'd like to play c5, but I just don't have time. So maybe we should castle and then try to play b6 and do it like that. That looks like the soundest approach for black here. I don't know, have we played this guy 3 times? I don't remember how he plays. Looks like there was a crazy king hunt game that he lost. He was kicking my king around the board. That game I remember. Another simul game I don't remember. And a 5+3 where I was black apparently. Looks like he was worse out of the opening. Okay, c3. Well, now I have c5, but it still doesn't solve all of my problems. b6 seems a bit sounder. I was concerned about c5 having some drawbacks. If f5, e5, we've got to counter the center. Bishop e4, maybe I can play queen back to e7. I'm not happy with the way this opening went. I'm like trying to equalize with black against this crazy gambit. Knight g5, knight f6, knight c3. Okay, I played a lame move here. c6 is weak, but objectively, bishop f5, I've got to look this up. This f3. Pawn takes f3, queen takes f3. I guess I missed queen c8 in my analysis. Maybe queen c8 just refutes it. But even that's unclear, because he has bishop c4, and if e6, knight takes f7. We'll take a look after the game. It looks like a really tricky idea. h6, everything's dangerous here. But he doesn't seem to have f5 yet, and I'm getting counterplay with c5 now. Now my bishop's really strong on b7. I mean, white is still fine, but I think that we're okay now. I can bring my rook to the center. He doesn't have f5 yet. Maybe he could do some kind of sacrifice. I mean, g4 is natural, but it also, like, drastically weakens his king position. Maybe I should just take and play bishop c5 here. Then my structure is a little bit worse. Huh. We could take and play e5. No. We can play rook d8 first. Play rook d8 first. Okay, I know what I would do with white here, I guess. He could simply take, and then bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, d takes c5. That seems like the best. He could also play like rook e1. What? The mainline trap goes bishop f5, queen e2, queen d4, queen b5 check. Yeah, okay, I've seen similar lines like that in Soltigo in the Jobava style Dunst opening. That has to go. Okay, we've got a slightly inferior pawn structure, but I've controlled the open file, and I thought that would compensate. The combination of this very powerful bishop and my control the open file. Now I have rook d3. Rook d3 buying time. Now I can double if he tries to play rook d1. No, actually rook d1, yeah. Camel Culture. Hey, what's up? Long time since you've been here. Guys, I gotta leave in like 2 minutes after this game. So you're just in time to see me leave. But it was good seeing you. Thank you for the donation of bits for your Helios. Thanks everybody for subscribing. I'm going to be back tomorrow night with my subscriber stream, 7 p.m. CET here. And we do game analysis for the subscribers, and sometimes like a guest or two, visitor to the stream. So I got to run. I got some work to do with the time change. You just tried out streaming. Wow. Good luck. We'll check it out sometime if you continue to do that. Queen g3, but he's still not unpinned. He's defending his pawn. Seems like my queen needs to be redeployed. I don't know. Structurally, we're a little bit worse, but we've got control of the file. He's in an awkward pin. I mean, my gut instinct is that this is probably equal, but it's maybe easier for black to play because we have the initiative. Queen. What's up with this ending? Tricky. King and pawn endgame could be really bad for me. Don't really want to go there. But objectively it looks kind of drawish. My bishop's hanging and I can't just ignore that. And if I defend my bishop, he'll chop chop, and like I have to trade. Like a drawn rook ending, basically. It's just a draw. It is just a draw, my friends. I have a slightly worse structure here, so I'm going to end the stream with this draw. Thank you for the games, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Good game, Rakesh. We will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. CET. And it will be a subscriber stream, so we're going to be doing mostly game analysis. Maybe a blitz game or two, maybe with some guests, a game analysis, but mostly subscriber game analysis. Thanks for watching and tuning in, guys. Thanks for supporting the stream by being subscribers here on lichess. I appreciate the training myself. Thanks again for the donation of bits, and please donate via PayPal if you can afford it to support the stream, and my YouTube channel where I upload all the streams on YouTube, video chess training on YouTube. Please subscribe over there. If you don't donate anything, you can just donate a free subscription to YouTube. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for the games. I will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Thanks to our moderator, Soltiga, for staying up all night just to do this. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.